What's going on, guys? Ironcane here, back for another Drive All the Breakers Season 4/1st anniversary video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a tier list for all of the survivor skins currently in the game. So the way I typically rate these are, I prioritize the skills. The skills are definitely a big part of the tier list, but I also consider the animations, voice lines as well. Just because some of these survivor skins literally have copy and paste animations. So I kind of do account that as well. This isn't like a super sweaty tier list like my Raider or like my Transpheres super attack tier lists are. Just because it's a little like personal preference based off of animations. But when it comes to skills, obviously that's a little like, you know, less room for debate. But anyways, let's go ahead and get cooking on this. So for this tier list, Winter Bulma wasn't included, which is fine because she's literally a copy and paste of Bulma, just with the winter suit. They have the same voice lines, practically the same character. So we have Z, S, A, B, C, and D. I might make like a, you know, funny tiers depending on, you know, if needed, right? So I feel like let's just knock an easy one out of the way. Bulma. Bulma is, you know, one of the first survivor skins in the game. She has bike. Actually, I'm going to put her in A first, and then let's talk about her. So, Bulma is the first survivor skin, along with Oolong, that was added to the game. Bulma, honestly... Actually, let me put on lo-fi for this. Okay, I'm going to turn on lo-fi. Sorry about that. I totally forgot to put on the lo-fi. Anyways, so Bulma's skills, right? Let's take a look at what skills she has. So she has Capsule Single Wheel, Motorbike, and Charming Pose. So Charming Pose for me is my all-time favorite stun in the game. This has been my bread and butter stun. It's been replaced by Fake Death, which I imagine all of you are pretty acquainted with me using. But before I was using Fake Death, I was using Charming Pose. My combo would basically be melee the Raider, make them use their break strike or their combo breaker. Then I would use pose, and then I would hit them with super attack, and then I would dip, right? So that's pretty much like what I would use. I feel like it's a very good stun. It's very reliable. Its cooldown is a little long, to be fair, but I feel like for how reliable it is and how fast it is, I really like Charming Pose. Now, Bike used to be the cream of the crop. It actually used to be one of the most meta skills, if not the most meta skill in the entire game. You could dust Raiders like nothing. It's kind of become a meme skill these days. I will say, though, Bike has kind of shocked me and surprised me here and there with how fast it's been. It actually has dusted me like once or twice. So Bike isn't as bad as I make it out to be, but it's definitely not like where it was. Absolutely not where it was. So in terms of Bulma, I think her animations are fine. I think her voice lines are fine. Like, I feel like, you know, definitely any higher than A might be kind of crazy. B, I think, is fair with how bad Bike is now, but I just think with how good Charming Pose is and how good and consistent that stun is, at least in my experience, I feel like A is fine for now, but we could reevaluate her later. So next up, we're gonna do, we have King Furry. King Furry, if I were to rate him just on animations alone, he would be D. And I would call this like dog tier. Literally, because he's like a wolf. He's a wolf, that's why that's funny. Anyways, his active skill is really what saves him. So he was the Dragon tier survivor skin for Season 2. Season 2 with Vegeta. So backup attack is actually not that bad. It's definitely not as good as other skills like Bancho Fan and other like knockback oriented skills. But what's cool about backup attack is that you don't have to be super close to the Raider, and you don't have to be facing them either, right? So like say if the Raider is on the STM and you're like they're on the other side of it, you can just pop backup attack and it'll hit them and it'll force them to get off, right? And you can do this for interrupting survivor absorptions, Dragon Ball summons, things of that nature. So I feel like backup attack is honestly not that bad. But in terms of animations, he literally has the same exact animations as the farmer, which is really lame. Really, really lame. They've kind of stopped doing that, but the fact that he does have those lame animations, his voice lines are kind of whatever. His active skill, like, you know, you could argue C, but definitely no higher than C in my opinion. But I think we'll throw him in D. We'll just call this dog tier, just to be funny, haha. Just to be funny, haha. Actually, you know what? Speaking of the farmer, I feel like the farmer is just bad, guys. The farmer is just straight up bad. We're gonna call him. I don't know. We're gonna call this "I Want to Live" because that's the funny voice line he says. We're just gonna put him in "I Want to Live" tier. The farmer is just straight up bad. I'm sorry. Our goat, he's bad. So he has probably one of the memeiest super attacks in the game, which is Till. Till is essentially like a lottery, and you could get an item, but like 99% of the time you can't. Believe it or not, you could actually get super sodas from this. You could get rockets from this. You get radars from this. You get cubes from this. You get zennies from it. It has the potential to be really good. Unfortunately, it's just garbage. It's just really, really bad. In terms of animations, the farmer is fun. His voice lines is fun. He has the fastest gun in the entire game. You could just blow, blow, blow like people with the shotgun, bro. Or like what did Tekashi 69 say? He's like gung, 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 gung. Sorry, that was cringe. Anyways, you know, the shotgun is crazy. The shotgun is crazy, but like in terms of his skill, he's bad. He's bad. So he's going to be in a tier of his own. Honestly, we don't really have that many survivor skins. So I'm not going to go too crazy like filling out the tiers here. We'll probably just do C through Z, honestly. Let's do Yajirobe next. Yajirobe, he has funny voice lines. His animations are similar. I think he actually has the same animations as the farmer and King Furry, unfortunately. He has the same like kind of like stumble dodge. He does have a different like basic attack. He has like his katana, which is cool. That is cool, don't get me wrong. But his passive, honestly, he has one of the most toxic passives in the entire game because it's not used how it's supposed to be used. So he has Head Start Senzu. And if you guys don't know why this passive is so frowned upon in this community, is because it is the feeder passive. It is the feeder passive. So essentially what people do to feed in this game to either get Raider Q faster, or the Raider match faster, or complete events really fast, is that they'll do Head Start Senzu, walk up to the Raider, res themselves, and then the Raider will kill them again, and then they're out of the game. And they'll do this repeatedly to keep getting Raider fast or to complete through the events fast. It's very toxic. It's very, very toxic, and I think they need to find some way to make that punishable, because the fact that people get to do that for free and get like, you know, not even like a smack on the wrist, like it's very, very bad. So for that reason alone, I would have put him in like, I don't know, Y tier, like something really doo-doo and bad. I mean, honestly, he probably would be like, what the tiers are going on right now? We have C. Like the only reason why I'm like even thinking about putting him in C or B is because of Temporary Retreat. Temporary Retreat used to be a meme. It used to be really bad. It healed slower than normal. You moved people at a snail's pace. But now the power of this passive is that you're actually able to silently heal allies. Yes, if you didn't know, Temporary Retreat actually allows you to heal people silently. So every other like form of rezzing in this game makes and produces a noise, like when you use the little defibrillators. Those make a noise, but use Temporary Retreat, the Raider is not going to hear you. So you can kind of like do a sneaky heal, which is pretty cool. And it's really good to run like with First Aid and like Dragon Clan Healing. You could be like, you know, the team healer, right? So this is pretty cool. They made it better. It used to be really, really bad. But his animations are pretty reused besides his basic attack. His voice lines are funny. He only has one good passive, which is like, okay, not even like insane. So honestly, I think I will throw him in C. I think C is totally fair. I think C is fair. All right, let's just do an easy one. Dende is easy Z. Dende is easy Z. Little Green is like big BDE energy. He might be a little green, but he has BDE energy, bro. He has BDE energy. So if you don't know his passives or his active, he has, where the hell is it? Let me do, where is it? Oh yeah, let me heal you. So if you guys don't know what this skill does, it is a instant heal. And what's great about this is that instant healing is only done by Senzu beans, and there's only a certain amount of Senzu beans on the map. So there is not an infinite amount. What's good about this skill is that, you know, it's a cooldown skill. So as long as you get your cooldown back, you can repeatedly use it. And if you combine this with skills like Exploration Enthusiast, you'll be able to get this skill back pretty fast, right? The only thing that's like kind of stinky about this skill is that if you res without Dragon Clan healing, you aren't going to get a full heal. And what do I mean by that? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Sorry, I'm just doing the alphabet in my head. Definitely know my alphabet. Oops. So this skill, you are able to restore an ally's barrier when you revive them. What this means is, you know when you res people and they have the little red ring of death around them? If you res people with this skill equipped, you'll give them a full heal, meaning that they will not need to get a barrier and they can take a hit before getting down. So combine this with Let Me Heal You. You're going to be able to instant res, and you're going to be able to provide survivors their barrier, meaning that even if the raider is camping, they're going to have to work for it, right? So Dende is really, really cracked in that sense. You don't even need Let Me Heal You to get like all the usefulness out of Dragon Clan healing, and vice versa, right? So like Let Me Heal You is obviously going to be best with Dragon Clan healing, but the fact that you have an instant res and you don't need a Senzu, the fact that you can res survivors without needing a barrier, like that is just really, really good. Really, really good. And that's why I think Dende is probably the best survivor skin in terms of skills, because both of the skills are fantastic. And in terms of animations, he's cool. I think his running animation is unique. And he has a basic attack that's kind of like, he doesn't have a gun. Imagine Dende had like the Dende Beagle or something. He has these little like psychokinetic waves or whatever. He does like these little like aura blasts, which is kind of cool. But yeah, Dende is an easy Z for me. I think he is the best survivor skin in the game, in my opinion. But you know, you guys let me know in the comments below. Also, when he calls the Flying Nimbus, he says, can I ride it? Or like, can I handle it or something? And it's just like really weird, and it makes me like laugh every time. Anyways, next up, let's do Lemo. So Lemo, I think I'm going to put in B, just because his skills are serviceable and his animations are pretty cool. He has a unique gun animation. He has really funny voice lines. And his skills aren't the worst ever, right? And he can literally cook, dude. Like, that's pretty epic. So cook is pretty cool, man. I feel like you're not really going to get that much usage out of this skill unless you're running into a pre-made. But it lasts for a very, very, very long time. It has a short cooldown. It's a cool active skill. His passive skill, although is not my favorite, it is a scouter boost. Honestly, this is not that great, but, you know, at least it's, like, usable, but I wouldn't really recommend it. I think he's carried by his animations and his voice lines, and then Cook also being very fun to use. You could definitely make the argument that maybe, you know, he belongs in C, but I think B is fair for Lemo. I think his animations are funny. His voice lines are funny. He has a cool gun. His Cook skill is, you know, it's a cool, like, team-based skill. We don't have too many team-based skills in the game, so I do respect that. So maybe I'm, you know, glazing Lemo a little bit, but, like, it's the GOAT, bro. It's the GOAT Lemo. Come on now. So I feel like if we were going by waifu tier list, Cheelai would be in a tier of her own. Unfortunately, I do not really like her skills at all. Head Start Scouter is Garbo, and her active skill I feel like is just not good enough to like make it, you know, like worth using. Like the simp in me wants to put her at B, but I really do think, like, if I'm going to be reasonable, I think she belongs in C. I'm going to put her high C. Shouts to high C drinks. Sorry, that was cringe. For her animations, for her voice lines, you know, I feel like she belongs in C. But her skills suck, guys. Let's take the simp goggles off. Let's take the simp goggles off, bro. Let's look at her actual skills. So she has Thanks. It's a cool skill, dude. It's a really cool skill. Gosh dang it. It's a really cool skill. It basically will allow you to get an item for free without wasting a charge of a vending machine. So like, say for example, you want to buy a soda, but you don't have the money. If this works, you get a free soda, and you can actually buy one afterwards, which is really, really good. But unfortunately, the chances of that happening is so low, understandably so, because like if it was really high, then it'd be kind of broken. But it's just not good enough to like warrant using, right? And then of course she has a head start skill, and I don't really like any of the head start skills, and she has head start scouter. And I already don't like scouter as an item in the game, so the fact she starts out with one is just like not good. Also, fun fact, her scouter's color is blue. Sick, dude. Sick. All right, moving on. Chi-Chi. Honestly, like, not even with simp goggles on. Animations, fire. Voice lines, whatever, fine. Animations, top tier. She has like a little cartwheel thing she does as her dodging animation, which is really cool. Her basic attack is like these little wind blasts, which is really cool. Honestly, I gotta put her in S. I want to put her in Z, but I'll explain why I can't. And maybe I'm just doing it so like somebody gets an S. I don't know. But let me explain why. So Chi-Chi has Bancho Fan. Bancho Fan is one of the best active skills in the game. It is a really good active skill that knocks back the Raider pretty far, by the way. Depletes the gauge, so Raiders are going to be dropping their Dragon Balls. They're going to be interrupted if they're on the SDM, if they're summoning, if they're executing, what have you. It has a very, very short cooldown. 18 seconds for this skill. Imagine all 7 survivors running this. The Raider is going to want to like, bro, they're gonna want to like hate themselves, bro. Like, if everybody was running this 18 seconds cooldown, like, defend the STM, they're going to get knocked off the STM, like, every 2 seconds. Awful. But the reason why, and the only reason why I'm not putting her in Z is because Flames of Mount Fry Pan is not as good as it used to be. It is still an okay active skill, but if you guys don't know how it used to work, it used to be at 90 seconds and can take a couple ki blasts. Now it can only take like 1 to 2 ki blasts, and if like it can't take 1 super though. So if like a Raider is charging a super, you pop this, it will save the super. It has saved me like in a pinch a couple times. Like say like I was just about to finish a summon and then the Raider's tossing a sniping super, somebody pops this and it saves me. It can be very clutch, but I just feel like it's not as good as it used to be. And if multiple people are running it, it's really not that good. It's really only good for like a clutch, like blocking the last hit before something pops off. That's like the only way it's useful. Or like to like block the Raider for a couple seconds to like buy someone time to escape, like during like the defense phase or letting like a free super. Because like anybody else besides the person that uses this skill can actually pass through the wall. And of course, besides the Raider. So maybe I'm selling this active skill a little short, maybe, but I just feel like compared to Dende, where I would argue all of Dende's skills are good, and his animations are unique, and his voice lines are fine, I just feel like he, like without like, you know, argument, he deserves the Z. But like with Chi-Chi, you could argue she belongs in Z, and honestly, I wouldn't even be mad. I wouldn't be mad if you said she belongs in Z. Like, we're going on animations. She has the best animations in the game. Full stop. Like the cool basic attack, the cartwheel is sick. Full stop, she would be Z. I just feel like in terms of the skills, maybe I'm being too hard on it, but I think S, bare minimum S. Bare minimum S, but we could revisit her. All right, next up, let's do King Kai. I think King Kai is B, man. And he's definitely better than Lemo. And let's talk about why. So animations, unfortunately, has the same dodge stumble animation that King Furry and Yajirobe have, but he does have a different basic attack. It's kind of like Psychic Beam, similar to Dende, which is pretty cool. He doesn't bring any passive skills to the game, but he does bring two pretty unique active skills. So the one he has is Get Out Here Bubbles. This, I don't know. I feel like they need to relook at this passive or active because the cooldown is kind of long, man. 90 seconds for like what it is, I feel like is kind of insane. So if you guys don't know what this does, like if you ever played like Mario Kart, essentially this is like the blooper in Mario Kart where like it gets the ink on your face. Bubbles jumps on your face and you lose lock on and your vision is obscured for a little bit. That's all this is. That's really all it is. It happens. It's like, haha, that's funny. It's kind of annoying, but like it's Bubbles. It's cute. Like it's whatever. If a whole team is running this, I don't know how crazy that's going to be, but you can actually shoot Bubbles. So like, and Bubbles can also just straight up miss. So for like how whatever the active skill is, for how long of a cooldown it is, not that great. He does have this other active skill, which honestly, I feel like should be used more now, considering Broly's like insane, like early game. He has telekinesis. Basically what telekinesis does, or telepathy. Telepathy will show the Raider's position for a short amount of time. And I feel like for Broly, this is really good, but nobody's really using it. And I feel like for, you know, solo queue, people probably aren't even going to be paying attention to this, or like Broly's probably going to find them in like 2 seconds anyway. It won't even really matter. But this is also helpful, say in a situation where you have all the Dragon Balls and like you want to summon, but you don't know where the Raider is. Pop this, boom, you know where he is. You're like, okay, he's over here. Let me go to another pedestal, right? Could be helpful in that sense. But, you know, like, I feel like, I don't know. Like, this is one they got to be careful with because, like, in pre-mates, if, like, it has, like, a really short cooldown, people could abuse this. So I understand why it's a longer cooldown. But this is an interesting one where it could be really, really good in, like, the right hands, but it also is, like, typically mid, right? But it's interesting. It's interesting. So I feel like that's an easy B for me. Next up, let's do Oolong. So, day one, easy C. Easy bottom of the barrel C. But I think these days, man, he definitely belongs in A. It's kind of crazy that the original skins are as good as they are. I will say Oolong's, one of his active skills kind of took a little bit of a hit, but his other active skill actually got a little bit better. So let's talk about it. So we have Change Missile and then Change Camouflage. So this skill used to be 60 seconds. 60 seconds for a cooldown. What? What? They made it 10 seconds, which is good. I can't believe it was anything higher than like 30 back in the day. So this skill is actually very, very good against Raiders that can't detect you with Ki. So against Raiders like Frieza, against Raiders like Broly, this is a really, really good active skill because they won't be able to find you. And unless you like use it right in their face or like really close to them and they hear you scream, change, like they're really not going to know that this was used. This also is supposed to negate lock-on as well. It didn't before, but now I believe it does. So you can do something like pop floating device, then change, then like negate lock-on, and then like try to escape. That could work. That could be a combo. But I've seen people use this against Broly and be pretty successful with it, just because a lot of Broly players are fairly new to the game. And against Frieza, this could work. But unfortunately, this does not work against Ki Sense, and it does not work against Scouters, so you will be found if any of those skills are used. What do we have? Change Missile. Change Missile, I think, is still really good for what it does. This can knock the Raider off. I don't know if it depletes the entire gauge. If it does, that's dropping Dragon Balls. That's knocking the Raider back. Oh, yeah. Actually, it definitely does deplete the gauge because it wouldn't knock the Raider back if it didn't. So this depletes the gauge, which could interrupt the Raider. Very multifunctional. It's a good escape. To this day, it's still a good escape. Raiders can keep up with it now since the buff that they did with locking on. But you're still able to consistently avoid Ki Blast. It's a good way to just get around the map, get distance from the Raider if they're not locked on. Still a good skill. It takes a little more skill to use now, but it's still a pretty solid active skill. Still pretty solid. Oolong is also very small, so he's very hard to find as well. And in terms of his animations, there's nothing crazy. They're nothing crazy, but you know, he says, "Give me girly panties" when he summons Shenron, so that's pretty epic, right? Oh my god, boys, I need some water. But yeah, that's too long. I think we're going to keep him in A. And plus, when he says, "Where's my thank you?" It reminds me of Adam Sandler when he says, "Where's my thank you?" I don't know, that's just me, but like I love that voice line. Anyways, let's knock out these last two. So we have Baba. So Baba on her skill alone could be A. Could be A. And I almost want to keep her there just because of how unique she is. But unfortunately, like, I mean, I guess her skill alone, you could argue A, but I feel like for Baba as a character, she just sucks. She just sucks, and I gotta put her in B, man. I gotta put her in B, like mid B. And the reason for that is, like, actually playing as Baba is terrible. Terrible. She's so slow. It is, like, insane. It is absolutely insane. Like, it makes me question whether or not they actually, like, play tested her. But the reason why I'm even putting her so high in the first place is because she has one of the best rushing skills in the game, which is Dragon Ball Diviner. Has a very long cooldown, rightfully so. You were able to see where all the Dragon Balls are in the entire map without needing a radar. This is very good for rushing Dragon Balls and getting a level 4 very, very early. So in terms of Baba, she can fly, which is very unique. She was the Dragon tier skin for the previous season. Voice line, she's fine. You know, she can fly, which is really cool. But it just sucks that, like, her flight is so slow, right? I wish they would give her, like, a passive to help her out. But with the active skill Instant Ascent and Descent currently being in the game, maybe she'll see a resurgence once those two skills are out. But for now, she's pretty bad. For now, she's pretty bad in terms of, like, playability. But last but not least, we have the champ, the GOATs, Mr. Satan himself. If I were to absolutely glaze him, I would put him in Z. His voice lines are hilarious. He has, like, jiggle physics on his afro. Both of his skills are good. It's just that for me personally, I know some people are not gonna like this. I feel like he does belong in S purely, again, due to the fact that both of his skills are just not as good as both of Dende's skills. And I feel like if I were to throw Mr. Satan in here, it would kind of devalue my placement of Dende, just to be fair and objective and not be biased. I feel like I got to put him in S, but let's talk about it. So, what is the name of his active skill? I actually don't even know. Let's find out together. The Savior has come. So the Savior has come is essentially Charming Pose, but a little bit slower. I don't know if the range is less, but it's just not as good as Charming Pose is. And then let's look at his passive. His passive is actually very good. His passive is very, very good. Let's see if we can find it. I forget where the hell it is. Immortal Champion. So Immortal Champion essentially allows you to take an extra hit as opposed to getting down. This knocks you back. Does this make him Z? I don't know, because this skill is crazy. I will say this skill is kind of crazy. It can backfire though. That's like the only thing like I'm like in between about. You know what, dude? I'll do it, dude. The chat wants him in Z. I feel like maybe I'm just being nitpicky. I'll throw him in Z. I think that's fair. Any lower than us would be insane though. So let's put him in Z. I feel like this passive skill kind of carries him. Immortal Champion. And his stun is okay, but it's not like the worst. It's not the best. Has a fairly short cooldown. His voice lines are funny. His animations are unique. He has a roll instead of like the stumble. So I feel like that's fair. But anyways, guys, I'm pretty happy with this, honestly. The farmer, you know, his basic attack is fun, but his active skill sucks. His animations are pretty boring. The King Furry, his active skill is okay. Animations kind of suck. Voice lines are kind of whatever. Yajirobe, his skills are kind of whatever. Animations, besides like the sword, is kind of whatever. Funny voice lines, though. Cheelai, I mean, if I was a simp, she'd be up here, but, you know, her skills are not good. Like, straight up, they're not even mid. They're just flat out bad. Animations are good. Funny voice lines. Lemo, funny voice lines. Good, cool animations. Decent skill. Decent skills. Scouter's not that great. Baba, fantastic skill. Animation's kind of whatever. The flight is cool. It's just bad, sadly. So we're going to keep her in B. King Kai, unfortunately, reused animations. Cool basic attack. Voice lines are funny. So-so skills. Oolong, decent skills. Decent voice lines. Whatever animations. So I think A is fair. Bulma, you know, you got the simp, you know, points of her. Solid skills. Cool animations, funny voice lines. Chi-Chi, funny voice lines, very good skills, very, very cool animations. Definitely deserves the S. Mr. Satan, very unique animations, hilarious voice lines, probably some of the most funny voice lines you'll have in this game. Good skills. And then Dende. Animations are fine. Voice lines are funny. And the best skills of the game. So I'm pretty happy with this. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of my tier list, where you would place people. Am I crazy? Like, am I completely wrong? Am I like spot on? Let me know. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the Ironcane channel for more tier lists like these, showcases, live streams, rage comps, all the good stuff. Like a y'all. The next one, take care, stay safe, have fun. Peace out.